Hi guys, I'm Nick. Welcome back to the channel. This is Wild and Wired. Today we're talking about my top slingshots of the year 2024. Now, not all of these slingshots are brand new this year. They're new to me this year. So some of them, like the Wendigo, are really recent, and others, like the Evo, are classic. So let's start there with the Evo, okay? And none of these slingshots are in any particular order, except for the Evo. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that this is the king. This is the daddy. This is the undisputed champion. I won't go on about it too much here. I've got plenty of other videos all talking about the joys of Evo. This is single-handedly the greatest slingshot design in the world, bar none, in my hands. Nothing else comes close. It's in a league of its own. It's amazing. I recently converted my Evo Ergo to be clipped, and it was easy using Wasp Enzo clips. That's something to do. So if you need to own some form of an Evo in any form, whether it's the low cost one, the Evo Ergo, or the high end clipped one at about 70 quid, they are fantastic. So I'm not going to go on about it any more than that, because this is just pure win. Okay, let's leave the Evo behind and let's move right along. Now, the next one I want to talk to you about is a relative unknown this year. Now, if you're an Evo lover, sorry, you're going to love this. This is the Typhoon by Leighton's Strods and Cattys. It's a 95mm across the forks. Now, this is a real sleeper frame in my humble opinion. I don't think anybody's picked up on this. If you're an Evo owner, you've got to own one of these. This is fabulous, really great. Now, a couple of really big caveats. It is the most comfortable slingshot you've held, whether it's brace or whether it's, sorry, you know, you're doing choke or brace or what have you. But the way it's manufactured, it creates lots and lots of sharp edges. So when you get it, it might be a little bit sharp and dig into you. So just go at it with a Dremel or some sanding paper. Once you've fit it to your hand, this thing is a thing of beauty. I love the thickness of it, as with all Leighton's Cattys. It gives you a really nice aiming point, a really thick edge here to align, you know what I mean, whilst you're sighting. It's absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend this highly enough. Excellent frame. Brilliant 2024 frame, the Typhoon by Leighton's Strods and Cattys. FYI, it is only in a 95mm width, and you must tailor it. This was in my hand most of the summer. For a while, it was going to rival the Evo as my go-to #1 frame. This is the Axiom X by SimpleShot. It is an adjustable fork. It is an adjustable palm setting, so you can actually set how it feels in your hand. Now, this is I want to say a very mechanical frame, and I mean it in that it's a very high engineering frame. It's brilliantly designed and built by Mark Selgin and SimpleShot. Absolutely brilliant. Now, for me, in my hand, it's kind of got a weird hold. I have it set up off center, kind of side shooter style. I love the sights on it. I love everything about it. It's just the hold is unlike anything you've ever really held before. Now, that's not a bad thing. It just needs customization and tailoring. And even then, it's kind of weird. But it's not bad weird, it's just different weird. I would really encourage you to, if you can afford it and want to try it out, the Axiom X is an absolute monster of design. Now, Mark Selgin, SimpleShot, if you guys are watching this, what I would do for the next revision for the SimpleShot Axiom X2 would be to make the palm swell completely modular and changeable, like you've got the top end, because the weirdness in hold definitely is somehow related to the handle. I can't put my fingers on it. It's not a deal killer. It's not a reason to not get it. It's just a different kind of a frame. I've loved this and I'm loving it. It's often my go-to frame when I'm not in the mood for an Evo. I really recommend this highly. It will fit lefties, righties, anything from I think 80 to 100 frame width. It'll cover all eventualities. It's an OTT frame, not an OTF or TTF, sorry. That's the Axiom X by SimpleShot. Okay, now again, this is another absolute winner of a frame. For many of you, you may not have even heard of this. This is the GZK or GZK Gal 2, co-designed by Jonathan Olguin and GZK themselves. This is an absolute monster. This is top 3 for me. I love the way it holds. Again, I've got it set up side shooter, kind of offset. I've got it set up at 95, the way I like it. The hold on it is stunning. It's very different, but very comfortable. It pulls you right in. It's kind of top heavy, which is lovely if you like getting right up around the forks. There's just so much to love about it. I've got the longer bar that costs a couple of extra quid. This is just amazing. It's a stunning design. Again, it's adjustable, very much like the Axiom X, so it will handle lefties, righties, and as long as you've got the right size bar across here, you can handle up to 100mm width. So I've got it at 95. It also accommodates a sight if you use such a thing, and the way the handle is shaped, it's just lovely. Okay, it's not melt into your hand, but it's very ergonomic, or it's just very comfortable. It's a very repeatable, sure hold. It's also got some tilted tips, so if you wanted to, you could probably straighten your wrist a little bit, like I do for the Evo. Absolute monster of design. I don't know if it's underrated or not. GZK have these in stock. You have to get one. They're just brilliant. Okay, and finally, this is going to be somewhat controversially, okay? This is 2 different frames. This is the Wendigo, designed by Chuck and Steel, built and distributed by both Amiga Slings and Wasp Slingshots here in the UK. This is the ESus, ESUS, like Jesus without the J. This is by Hegarty Slings, designed by someone else. Now, these are both incredible. Now, if I show you, the geometry on these is nigh on identical, okay? Everything about the top end is pretty much exactly the same. I can't really show you, give you an idea, but it's so close. Now, these both hold very differently. And I have a preference, but it's only a personal preference. Both of these are killer designs and killer frames. And I couldn't work out why I personally prefer the ESus to this. Now, I've got this made for me by Nick Hegarty at 95, because I'm 95 now, but the Wendigo and the standard ESus are both 90mm frames. I couldn't work out why I have such a preference for this over this when the geometry is apparently so similar. The Wendigo has a very narrow waist, whereas the ESus has a much thicker waist. And what that means is when you're holding the Wendigo, it holds really close in. It's a tight grip. It pulls you right into it. Now, for me, with my big hands, it feels kind of small in my hands. Now, it's great. It's very ergonomic and it feels beautiful. However, because of the small waist, it doesn't stand off my hand very much. And I prefer it to stand off just a little bit. And that extra girth around the middle allows that kind of standing off, so it stands off your hand a little bit. For £22–23, the ESus or the Wendigo are absolute monsters. Honestly, you got to own one of these. My preference is the ESus, but the Wendigo is as good. It's just, what do you prefer? Do you prefer a really tight pulled in hold, or do you prefer something that stands off a little bit that you can use your palm to rest on the waist, if you know what I mean? Absolutely, I love this frame, this ESus. It's absolutely brilliant. Actually, these days, because it's new to me, I've been putting this out over the Evo every time, and I'm killing it. I mean, I'm smashing 25 at 10 meters with this. It's beautiful. I would love a custom in something really sexy. It's just, this is my design. This and the Evo. Interestingly, the Venator by Simon at Wasp is very similar to this, but it wasn't clipped, and people like ATO Mark have loved the Venator. It's one of his go-to frames. So I was waiting on a clipped version, and I think this is basically, it's not the Venator, but it's very similar design and it's clipped. So if you're looking for a Venator-like experience, this is the go-to. And if you're finding this is a bit too close on your hand, or your hand's too big in it, try an ESus. But this design, it's absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so if you want to get an ESus in 90mm, get it from Nick Hegarty at Hegarty Slings on eBay. I'll put the link up here. But if you're a 95mm shooter like I am, an Evo Pro type person, if you have an anchor point at 95, I got Nick to make me some 95mm ESus. This is such a good frame that I figured it just needed to be done. So, get your 90mm from Nick, but if you'd like a 95mm ESus, this absolute monster of a frame, drop me a line. I've got 8 of them. They're all left-handed. I've kept the 2 right-handed for myself. Sorry, that's just too good a frame. But if you're a left-handed 95mm shooter, I've got a killer frame. I'm doing them for the same price that Nick does, and 24 plus postage. They'll come with a band set. This is superb. It's so good, I just needed to make it available to 95mm people, myself and you. So if you're interested, drop me a line. So those are my top frames of 2024. If you had to like hold a gun to my head and make me choose one, honestly, the ESus and the Gal are 2 absolute screamers, absolutely belters. Maybe the Gal edges it a little bit because of its adjustability. There's so much you can do to this to make it really yours. It's a beautiful, beautiful design and a super well made frame, and for like 60, I think 70 quid, it's fantastic. But if money is tight, get an ESus or a Wendigo and you will not regret it. And finally, everybody should own an Evo. It doesn't have to be the carbon version, but you should at least have one in your armory. They're fantastic. So those are my 2024 top frames for me. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a brilliant year for Slingshots. This has been my first year of Slingshot since I bought my first one last Black Friday. Currently I'm at 25mm at 10 meters. Not such a great success rate, but I can hit a 40 at 10 most of the time. So I'm coming along and I'm loving the journey. I hope you guys are too. So happy new year to you, happy 2025, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.